Yo, what up? It's AaroniMoses, and this video is on how to create vortexes for your Magick. Now, what is a vortex? A vortex is pretty much like a chakra is a vortex. A vortex, how I explain it, is a doorway to specific energies that can be stored away for you to access when you want, how you want, or to get you to a new dimension. Now, couple examples of a vortex would be brands. Brands are vortexes. You know, this YouTube channel is a vortex. Instagram is a vortex, and of course we have vortexes within vortexes like this universe. We have the universe, then we have the Milky Way, then we have Earth, then we have Instagram, right? YouTube. That's how it works, right? And vortexes are created from one of two things, usually pleasure or pain. They're really created from attention. They're created from attention, but they're based. What keeps them spinning, what keeps them open, what keeps them strong, what keeps them lit, is the pleasure that you give to it, the pleasure, thoughts, and energies that you give to it, sexual, or the pain, the scarcity, or the abundance, right? If you wanted to do a spell or a ritual, the steps that you take in that ritual, in that spell, is what's going to open that vortex. But there's things outside of you just lighting a candle and chanting some words that's going to make your spell effective, that's going to make your brand, that's going to make your channel, that's going to make your site and foundation, that's going to make these things bigger than what they are, bigger than what they're intended to be, come faster to you. And because of this type of lifestyle, you definitely need to know that. You need to realize when people are spelling at you, when people are cursing at you, when people are using you to open their vortexes. I'm gonna give you, I wrote down like 15, I think there's only 13, but I'm definitely gonna give you creative ways, I'm gonna give you basic and advanced ways to create a vortex, to open a vortex, and maybe you can get out of this information how to close people's vortexes and how to protect yourself against people using you to fucking open it and stimulate their own vortexes. Now, number one, I learned this from AaroniMoses. Shout out to 13 Signs Astrology. Goals, setting 10 goals between the moons, right? If on the day of the full moon, you need to be, this needs to be the first day that you have a list of 10 goals, and that you get those goals done every day until the full moon, and then do your ritual on the full moon. What does this do? This stimulates different parts of your brain and brings attraction energy to you. This puts you in a spot in the universe where you are getting the universe's attention. You're building momentum. You're stimulating different parts of your brain, similar to how the tools on an altar does, right? The candles, the athame, the chalice, the mirror. I use mirrors. If you use wands. These things really don't fucking have any power at all. They just stimulate the parts of your brain that you need to use to make the spell more effective. These are tools for opening vortexes, and you setting these goals. Waking up, washing the dishes, brushing my teeth, you know, think of it like that. Think of it like that. The steps that you take to practice hygiene is opening up vortexes for self-love to be constantly flowing to you. Confidence. Okay, when you don't brush your teeth, when you don't brush your hair, when you don't take care of these things, the amount of self-love that you have access to lowers. You might think, you know what, I'm gonna love myself just as much if I don't brush my teeth or take care of my hygiene. That might be true, but you're limiting yourself. You're limiting yourself, and your brain knows. Your brain is not gonna react to any situation the same if you do these things every day. You're gonna be a little bit lower energy. You're gonna be a little bit more low energy, and that's just how it is. That's pretty much like, that's all. I'm not gonna give you that's one of my problems. I keep giving you all analogies and shit. But goals, right? Taking these steps every day, that's gonna give you momentum. That's gonna show that this is gonna show the universe that you have a lot of integrity, that you're willing to experience pain and discomfort. This is taking advantage of the law of rhythm, right? And this is pretty much like how people in hoodoo and voodoo, I mean, all people of all practices, all paths of magic do this, but they might do something to their bodies that's painful. They might cut themselves, or, excuse me, burn themselves, or eat a chili pepper or something like that, or take a whip on and whip themselves on the back. And this is, from what I've been told, this is to get the spirit's attention, the God's attention, the universe's attention. And this is pretty much, it has that same energy as setting 10 goals and doing them every day for 7 days or for 2 weeks or however long. It has the same, it has that same, they have the same intentions. Somebody who might set 10, 20 goals and do them 2 weeks from moon to moon, and somebody who might eat a chili pepper while they're whipping themselves on the back. They have the same intentions, but one is definitely more extreme than the other. And I don't do, unless I work with specific spirits and specific gods that want me to, you know, dress peacocky and go talk to 10 strangers outside, or just do things that I don't want to do. Just do something that's painful, or something that's disgusting, that takes a lot of void, and I just can't think about it, you know, things like that. But it has the same energy behind it. One is just based off of pain, and they're both based off of pain. One gives you pleasure, the other one, it just shows you have heart, I guess, and that you're serious about this thing. But they have the same energies. So next, using people. I'm gonna give you an example. So, how you use people to open a vortex. When 50 Cent went bankrupt, what he did was, he went on the radio and he told everybody who was listening that him and Adidas just signed a $53 million deal for him to get new shoes, and he was telling everybody he's not bankrupt anymore. Now, that didn't happen. Adidas and 50 Cent never had a shoe coming out, and Adidas never agreed to give 50 Cent $53 million. That's not true. Right after that happened, 50 Cent made $20 million. I don't remember what he did, but he made $20 million. He barely had enough money to put out an album, but he still made $20 million. And now, I'm pretty sure he has more money than he had before he went bankrupt. How did this happen? Because there was 100,000 people listening to that radio show. Out of 100,000 people, 20,000 people believed in their heart that 50 Cent really did sign this major deal with Adidas and got his own shoe with Adidas. He was no longer bankrupt. He had $53 million minus what he owed to whoever, and that he was back on. Now, those 80,000 people didn't believe him, but those 20,000 people did. Out of those 20,000 people, they all told one person. They all told 3 people. So out of those 60,000 people, right, after the 80,000 people who don't believe them, 60,000 people now have this information. 40 of them didn't listen to the radio show. So 20,000 people believe him, told 3 people, and we'll say out of the 60,000, 50,000 people believe him. So you know, now you have 50,000 people plus, and they're gonna tell some people, 75,000 people plus believe that you have $53 million. You have a $53 million check, you're gonna get some fucking money. You're gonna get that $53 million. That's a lot of people believing that you have 53 million dollars. A lot of these entities, Santa Claus is a vortex. A lot of people's deities and entities that they worship were never gods at all. They were just vortexes. They were just, a lot of people believed that they were real. And it really happened. Rumors open vortexes. Rumors open vortexes. Belief open vortexes. And when you have multiple people believing something at one time about somebody, whether it's good or bad, that can open a vortex. If enough people only see you when you're at the club drunk, a lot of people are going to believe that you're an alcoholic. And if you don't take the proper steps, you may just become an alcoholic just because enough people think you are, even though you work harder than all of them put together, and you really only drink on the weekends, but that's the only time you go outside. If a lot of people think that you are a drug addict, alcoholic, and you're a bad parent, you don't take care of your kids, it's a large possibility that can happen. So next, of course, using the planets. Combining the planets open portals and vortexes and channels and doors by themselves already, but if you understand the way to combine these planets, the sun and moon energy, you know, any sexual energy, any energy that is opposing, any energy that is opposing, any energy that is complementing in nature, masculine, feminine, usually. Okay, Saturn, Neptune, Sun, Moon, Mars, Venus, Mercury, Venus, Mars, depending on what you're doing, you can open these vortexes and use these planetary energies to open vortexes, open doors, open portals, open channels for you to utilize the energy, right? And of course, elements. You can use earth and air to create a vortex because they're opposites. You can use earth and water because they're feminine opposites. You can use fire and water, and then fire and air, of course, and then you can use 3 of them together or all of them together. Okay, so earth is obviously the vortex that we live in, and earth is created from the balance of the 3 elements, fire, water, and air. This is why a lot of people are so interested in earth magic, and this is why a lot of the things that we do, we don't even intend to do, we don't even intend on doing, but this is because we live in a vortex. Earth is in the vortex of Saturn. So a lot of the things that we do, we have to work for. A lot of the things that we do are based on Saturn energies and Saturn rituals, and this is a Saturn vortex. So a lot of the times, anybody that is successful is seen as evil because Saturn is perceived as a planet that is fucking dark and evil, when it's not, as much as a lot of people think it is. So next we have, what does that say? What the fuck? I don't know what that says. Oh, the gods. Of course you can co-create vortexes with the gods. I mean, that's what prayer is. That's what a lot of the things. Next, tools. Tools, of course, using your athames, using your chalices, using your candles, using incense, that opens vortexes. But outside of rituals, you can keep those things on you, around you, stones and all of that. So 11 would be changing your karma. And this is not even the number of, I don't even know why I still have numbers. Changing your karma to open vortexes. Now, that's pretty much like forgiving somebody, right? When you forgive somebody wholeheartedly for something that has been affecting you for years and years, you open a lot of vortexes. If you've ever, changing your karma to open a vortex is pretty much like cleaning your house and finding a whole bunch of money and change everywhere, and now you take that and you go buy pizza. That's exactly what changing your karma can do for you as far as opening vortexes. If you want anything that is big, one of your goals should be changing your karma. And this is a lot of this is what a lot of the spells and rituals that I do for people, as far as their money, as far as their love, it's me going in their heart, going in their throat chakra, changing their karma, and making sure that any repetition, any behaviors or habits will not be continued, will not be in their lives anymore because of the energies that they are preserving inside of themselves. If you change your karma, if you have bad money karma, and you can't fuck you. If you have bad money karma and you want me to do a money ritual, a money spell for you, or you just don't have the habits that will attract money, how do you think I'm gonna feel when I go to do it and there's all these blockages and there's nothing there for me to multiply, like, you know? So if you want to open these vortexes, if you want to open a millionaire vortex, you need to make sure that there's nothing inside of you that's reflecting, that's going to deflect the energy, that's going to fuck up the spell, that's going to fuck up the ritual. That doesn't even make sense. That's like throwing a ball to somebody with no arms. So you having bad karma in these specific fields needs to be fixed. That's like, I'm going to give you a great example that just popped in my head right now. That's like if you have a warrant for a murder, but you're trying to be famous. That doesn't even make any goddamn sense. So you need to you need to clear. There's gonna be I'm sensing there's gonna be somebody really very famous very soon that's gonna have some shit going on with them. And this has happened especially to rappers, but like on some Charles Manson stuff, like, come on, bro. People go on Judge Mathis with fucking warrants and shit like that. Like on TV, I don't understand, but like Chief Keef, I think did that. But making sure you're changing your karma, man. Making sure changing your karma. Another 2 more ways that changing your karma can open up a vortex. So mind, body, soul, knowledge, right? If you want to, another way to change your karma is to learn about the thing that you are trying to attract. If you want money or if you want love, you need to learn about love. You need to learn about the dimension of love. You need to learn about, you need to educate yourself on sociology, psychology, not only the person, not only the feeling, not only how people act after they get love. You need to learn about what relationships are for real. You might get in a relationship and lose the person because the only relationships that you've seen are abusive. So you think that shit's normal. So when you yell at me and throw shit at me and I get mad and leave you, you're like, why are you leaving me? And I'm like, because, bro, this is not working. And they apologize. And they're like, this is the only way I've seen people treat each other in relationships. I'm like, nah, you're not stupid, bro. You just are a motherfucking bully and you're obnoxious and crazy. So if you want to maintain and obtain, you need to have the proper knowledge. You don't need to be manifesting a car if you don't have a goddamn license, right? And you getting this license will change your karma. It will change the probability that you're gonna go to jail behind the wheel, right? So having the knowledge a lot of the times will change your karma. It will take the energy away from you that's gonna put you in a place where you're gonna be uncomfortable because of these habits that you have or that you don't have, right? So learning will open up that vortex. Learning will write that timeline for you. Learning will open up those doors. Knowledge is power. And it takes a lot of power to open up specific vortexes, right? So next, using that free energy, like I said, with 50 Cent. Now, if you want to build that, you're going to need people, of course, if you want free energy, and a lot of the times we don't know how to get free energy. I'm going to teach you one horrible way that I used my knowledge on free energy when I was like 21. So what I did was I would take a whole bunch of paper I would take like a stack of paper and sit for about a week, and I would write all these messages on these pieces of paper, and I would rip them so they would be about that, about an inch by 1 inch by 1 inch, something like that. And I would sit here for a week, for hours and hours, and I would write all, well, some of it would be fun, happy, and some of them would be negative messages, and I would draw pentagrams and 666s on it, and just horrible things. And I would take these slits of paper, I would leave them on the bus, I would drop them in the store, I would go to the library and put them in books for hours, just go to different books and just fill the books up with all kind of, some would be happy, some would be positive, and some would be negative, and I would draw the sigil on it that I created myself. And I would leave after a week, I would run out of these pieces of paper, and I would put an echolocation wave from my sixth chakra and try to sense how many people have found these things and how many emotions and negative energies were going into the sigil, how much positivity was going into the sigil. I would create a shield around myself, of course, and then whenever I needed free energy, whenever I needed that energy, I would sit, meditate, and visualize beams of light coming from these places, beams of light coming from these states that I've done this, beams of light coming from these cities that I've put these pieces of paper, and I'll put them every fucking where. So that's the way that I do it. I mean that I did it. I don't do that anymore, but 'cause now I have no fucking internet, so I don't need to do that. But I mean, I had the internet back then, I just didn't want to utilize it like that. But you can do that. You can start a YouTube channel and help people, and people will tell you that they love you every day. And then when you're sad, you can just sit and meditate on green beams of light coming from all over the world to you, and you put in your back, and it will take your depression away. It'll make you very happy. You can read your messages. Oh my God, I tried to kill myself last summer, but I found your channel. Like, it's awesome. And then next, making space for, I've already pretty much said that. If you're looking for a new roommate and you live in a 2-bedroom, you might want to make sure that roommate moves out first. If you're looking for a roommate and you only have a studio, you probably need to get at least a 2-bedroom, right? So you need to make space for these portals to make sense in your life. Pretty much like I said, with me throwing you a ball and you don't have any arms. And then lastly, this is the deepest one, and this is like totally left field, but a projection ritual. A projection ritual. What is a projection ritual? Projection ritual is before I actually start doing a ritual, before I start doing a spell, while I'm doing the rest of these, I usually don't open portals by combining all of these fucking steps, because that would take like a month, which is, I mean, it would be worth it, but I just don't rock like that. Projection ritual is pretty much when I take my shower and get my black clothes ready, I sit and I visualize myself in ancient Kemet in my own little hut about the size of this room, with a big ass window facing the Giza pyramids. And I visualize that this room, this hut, is filled with ritual tools that I don't have, or some I do actually have. And I visualize myself doing a ritual, doing this elaborate ass ritual, and I built the vortex from there. Now, another thing that I do is, if Egypt is 6 to 8 hours ahead of time from America, from Central Time, right? 6 hours ahead. So when it's night here, it's day there. When it's day here, most of the time, it's night there. So, well, not fucking, just usually when I operate, okay? So, if there's a full moon, If it's the full moon, what I do is I project to Egypt, to the spot where it will be night, where I'll be able to see the full moon. And then I bring full moon energy from Egypt and I do a day ritual with that. Or I pull the full moon energy from Egypt, I put it in a ball, place it somewhere where I can get it later, and then when it's the full moon here, when I can see the full moon here, I combine them. Or I do a ritual that I want to do at night. Let's say I might not have time, or it's the weekend and I want to hang out. I might do that night ritual during the day with Egypt's time. And I open that portal, I open that vortex like that. I use that energy, I bring it to me, and I combine it with this full moon. It was times where I was doing rituals twice a day just because of this technique that was given to me. Projecting myself to China, projecting myself. Now, if I lived in the Eastern world, this would work a lot better because I could just live my life. And if I forget something, I can just come here, project here, and get it from here. Which is why I think a lot of incidents happen in America, and we have a lot of things going on, because I think that's what a lot of people who have this knowledge do. And I feel like if a lot of people do that, I think that that would be bad. In theory, if too many people did that, that would be negative for the country. It could mess a lot of things up. I mean, the fact that most of the world doesn't like America doesn't help either. But yeah, that's what I do. I was supposed to give you a lot more. I really want to make another video pertaining to this subject, but that's it. How to open vortexes. We have setting goals, using pain, using pleasure, using people, using the planets, using the elements, using the gods, using tools, changing your karma, using forgiveness, educating yourself, using that free energy, making space for it, and projecting to a different part of the world, a different part of your space, a different part of this vortex to obtain energy and maintain energy that is not presently yours. That's it. It's AaroniMoses. Life is in the breath. Breathe it in. Peace.